lives running. Running from what they fear, from their insecurities, from their own reflection in the mirror. In a world that constantly reminds us of what we lack, what we should be, and whom we should emulate, it's easy to forget the quiet, powerful truth that lies at the core of every human being. The power of accepting who you are. This is not a story of instant transformation or overnight success. It's the story of a journey, one that could be yours. Imagine a child growing up in a small town, surrounded by expectations. The world whispers its rules. Be faster, be smarter, be better looking, be more like them. The child stares out the window, longing to fit in, to impress, to finally measure up. Every morning brings a new yardstick, a new comparison, a new reason to doubt. The classmates seem taller, the neighbors seem richer, the siblings seem more talented. And so the cycle begins, the relentless chase for validation. This child grows into a teenager, then an adult, carrying the same heavy burden. The mirror becomes an enemy, reflecting not the truth, but the endless parade of things they are not. The social media feed scrolls by, each picture a reminder of what's missing. The world shouts, "Not enough," and the heart, bruised and battered, believes it. But then one day, something changes. Maybe it's a quiet moment at dawn, or the words of a stranger, or the gentle encouragement of a friend. Maybe it's just the exhaustion of carrying around so much self-doubt. The child, now grown, pauses. They stand alone, away from the noise and the expectations, and ask a question they've never dared to ask. What if I am enough? What if, just as I am worthy of love, respect, and happiness? This is the turning point, the beginning of acceptance. Accepting who you are does not mean settling for less. It does not mean giving up on growth or abandoning your dreams. It means embracing your story, your scars, your strengths, and your weaknesses. It means looking in the mirror and seeing not just flaws, but possibility. It means understanding that every experience, every failure, every triumph has shaped you into the person you are today. When you accept yourself, the comparisons lose their power. You stop measuring your worth against someone else's highlight reel. You begin to realize that the qualities that make you different are not liabilities. They are your greatest assets. The world does not need another copy. It needs you, your perspective, your voice, your unique combination of talents and passions. Let's look at the story of Maya, a woman who struggled for years with her sense of self-worth. Maya was always the quiet one, the one who faded into the background while others shined. She watched her friends excel in sports, academics, and social circles. She tried to mimic their success, molding herself into different versions, hoping to finally feel accepted. But the more she tried to fit in, the more invisible she felt. One afternoon, Maya found herself sitting alone in a park, watching the trees sway in the wind. She noticed that each tree was different, some tall and slender, others short and sturdy. Yet each tree reached for the sky in its own way without apology or hesitation. It occurred to her that none of the trees compared themselves to the others. Each simply existed, fulfilling its purpose. This simple observation sparked something inside Maya. She realized that she had spent her whole life trying to be someone else, instead of embracing the person she already was. She began to explore her own interests, her own voice. She discovered a passion for writing, for telling stories that resonated with people who felt overlooked. She started a blog, sharing her journey towards self-acceptance. To her surprise, people began to connect with her words. They thanked her for her honesty, for showing them that it was okay to be different. Maya's life did not become perfect overnight. She still faced moments of doubt, but she no longer allowed comparison to dictate her happiness. She learned to celebrate her achievements no matter how small. She built relationships with people who valued her authenticity, rather than her ability to fit a mold. By accepting herself, Maya found the freedom to live her life on her own terms. The power of self-acceptance is transformative. It allows you to step off the treadmill of comparison and step into the fullness of your own life. It gives you the courage to pursue your dreams, even if they don't look like anyone else's. It teaches you to treat yourself with kindness, to forgive your mistakes, to honor your journey. Consider the story of Thomas, a young man born with a stutter. Throughout his childhood, Thomas was teased and mocked for the way he spoke. He grew anxious in social situations, convinced that his voice was something to hide. He watched his classmates deliver speeches with ease, and he wished, more than anything, to be like them. But Thomas had a gift, a deep empathy for others, a keen ability to listen, and a resilience forged through adversity. One day, his teacher encouraged him to join the school's storytelling club. At first, Thomas hesitated, afraid of being judged. But the club welcomed him, stutter and all. He began to share his stories slowly at first, then with growing confidence. The audience listened, not to his stutter, but to the emotion and wisdom in his words. Thomas eventually realized that his stutter was not a curse, but a part of his unique voice. He accepted it, and in doing so, he found the strength to inspire others. He became a motivational speaker, using his story to encourage people to embrace their own imperfections. Thomas's journey was not about eliminating his stutter, but about accepting it as part of who he was. In that acceptance, he found his power. When you accept yourself, you become unshakable. The opinions of others no longer define you. The achievements of others no longer diminish your own. You stop living someone else's life and start living your own. Your relationships become deeper because you show up authentically, without pretense or fear. Your work becomes more meaningful because it is fueled by passion, not by the desperate need for approval. Self-acceptance is not always easy. It requires courage to face the parts of yourself you have tried to hide. It requires honesty to acknowledge your limitations and humility to celebrate your strengths. It requires patience because old habits of comparison do not vanish overnight. But the reward is worth every effort. How do you begin this journey? Start by noticing the moments when you compare yourself to others. Instead of judging yourself, get curious. Ask yourself, what am I truly seeking? Whose standards am I trying to meet? What would it feel like to let go of comparison, even for a moment? Practice gratitude for who you are right now. Make a list of your strengths, your achievements, your unique qualities. Celebrate them, forgive yourself for your mistakes, and remember that every person you admire has struggled in their own way. They too have doubts and fears. Surround yourself with people who value authenticity. Seek out mentors and friends who encourage you to be yourself rather than someone else. Remember that the world needs your light, not a dim reflection of someone else's. Most importantly, be kind to yourself. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to a dear friend. Remind yourself that you are worthy, not because of what you do or how you compare, but simply because you exist. Imagine a life where you wake up each morning without the weight of comparison. A life where you pursue your goals, not to prove your worth, but to express your passion. A life where you celebrate the success of others without feeling threatened, because you know that their journey does not diminish your own. This life is not just possible, it is within your reach. The power to accept who you are lies within you, waiting to be claimed. It is the quiet strength that endures when all else falls away. It is the foundation upon which true happiness is built. So the next time you feel the urge to compare, pause. Take a deep breath. Remember that your journey is your own. You are not here to be anyone else. You are here to be you. In all your complexity, your beauty, your imperfection, your glory. Accept yourself. Embrace your story. Live your truth. Because after this, you will never need to compare yourself again. The world is waiting for you, just as you are. If you like this story, please give it a like and share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Golden Chonk channel for more inspiring stories like this one. Thank you for staying with Golden Chonk. See you in the next story with new thoughts and new lessons. Until then, stay well and stay peaceful.